Our next caller comes to us from a haze of marijuana smoke in the South Bay of California.
Hi, okay. This is a blind item that I actually sent to Demois like 2 years ago, but it got deleted straight up within an hour because the person that I spoke about's team reached out to Demois and told them to take it down, or else they threatened to like sue or something. I don't know. But basically, I'm from the Bay Area, the South Bay Area, and I used to work at a dispensary in the South Bay Area. And at the time, we were like the only dispensary within like there was none on the peninsula. If it was just San Francisco and then San Jose, that was it. There was no Redwood City or anything like that. Now I think there is. But basically, people who lived in like Mountain View and all that would come to our store. And one day, I remember it was me and my coworkers, and we were all near the front, and two of my coworkers were checking people in. And I was hawking some fucking product. I don't even remember. But I remember this guy walks in, and he's wearing like the traditional pack outfit. I mean, it was like an Arc'teryx jacket and like fucking workout pants, you know. And it was a smaller framed guy. Well, not like framed, but like height-wise, he was smaller. But he walks in, gets checked in, and my coworker looks at it and says, like, welcome in, and then says Mark, and then says, it's basically like, sorry, I did a really shitty job of doing this, but basically it was like, oh, welcome in, Mark Zuckerberg. And we were like losing our shit, but we didn't say anything because he was kind of like fidgety. He's like socially awkward, and we didn't want to provoke him. He's kind of like a lemur. But basically, he went around the corner to go get help. And all of us, there was like 6 of us, we all peer around the corner like the fucking Brady Bunch where our heads are stacked, and we're staring at him. And he's getting helped by a few people because he's getting a lot of stuff. And like 3 guys. And then basically what happened was he got 3 like grocery bags filled with like dabs. And like not rigs or anything like that, like no like glass pieces. It was like the little containers. And for people who don't know what that is, it's like the size of a quarter. It's definitely smaller than a ring box. But imagine like 3 grocery bags filled to the brim with little like red. Part 2, which is barely anything, but I'm embarrassed it took that long. Basically, he got 3 grocery bags filled with containers that are smaller than like ring boxes, traditional ring boxes, with like presents. So that basically means this man is taking straight dabs to the fucking gullet, which checks out. And he basically had so much shit he needed help carrying it to the back of his car. And I don't know why, like I said that to Demois, it got accepted. And then, like, 3 days later, or, like, not even a day later, Demois DM'd me and was like, hey, we have to delete it because they threatened legal action. And I was like, over this? Who gives a shit? Obviously the guy's high. Anyways, love the pod. Peace and love. Stay safe. Bye.
Okay. I have a lot of initial reactions.
Mm-hmm.
1, I feel like 6 employees at a dispensary is 6 too many.
6 too many. I feel like that could be done by a robot.
That's a lot of people working at a dispensary, which I guess is kind of more of like a hang job than anything.
I've only been in one once.
Yeah. Second reaction. What kind of legal action did Zuckerberg's team threaten Demois with? Because how, like, with what?
Could have been a cease and desist.
Just a classic
Just
cease
a
and
classic
desist?
C and D, yeah.
But cease and desist what?
Listen, you're implying that my client is smoking too good of flower, and I want to assure you that my client, Mr. Zuckerberg, smokes mids and is not that high when he's eating a 90% fat piece of steak on
Oh,
his
don't
Hawaiian
fucking get me
farm.
started on the steaks.
What the fuck is up with those steaks, dude?
No, he like is like feeding his cows
Macadamia nuts.
macadamia nut, which is literally like filler. Like
What do you mean?
that's filler
Like the
for
stuff
feed.
that filler is made
Like
at?
he literally like he had a plot where he had these cows in Hawaii. He's doing his fucking wagyu shit, and he is plumping these guys up with macadamia like macadamia nut.
He's a feeder.
And he literally like tore out grass to plant macadamia trees to feed his cows like worse food, like feed them grass. And he said, he's like, oh, I got this consultant. It's like, my man, you got fucking scammed and you're being an asshole about it on fucking Instagram. Like, you don't know fucking anything about farming. I'll say it. Mark Zuckerberg knows nothing about farming.
I don't.
Or beef.
Listen, I've eaten some steaks in my life. I've eaten steaks of all quality and quantity. I've never seen a steak that looked like that. It didn't look good.
It's bad for because you saw how it was
fat.
like the fat wasn't properly like integrated into the meat because he is like fucking filling them with this shit that they can't digest. It's like really bad for the cow's system. It's just like not a way.
It looked like the whole body was foie gras.
Yeah, it's just like and he's being a snob about it.
But here's
which is
the
my
thing,
favorite rich person
which
thing.
is-
It's like being a snob about being fucking wrong.
But we didn't consider this. Maybe he's so fucking high. First of all, the weed is too damn strong.
So this was. Didn't she say this was like years ago? Too?
Yes, and it's been too strong for years. I remember the last time that I smoked weed, it was given to me by Vinny. I'm not going to say his last name because I feel like that would be weird, but I've mentioned it on this show before. Vinny gave it to me, weed, and it made me have a fucking freak out in the fucking little thing of our apartment building, the TL. I flipped out. I was hearing like boom, 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 boom. I was like, I can't be smoking this shit. People are driving while smoking that, flying.
Well, so, okay, questions. I have questions. And I want to hear what you guys think, which is, one, do you think all of this weed was for him?
Yes. Yes, I do. Him and his wife, Chan.
Just like stocking up? Or do you
Priscilla.
think he was having a party? Do you have parties with that kind of shit? I don't understand. Before we started recording, Young Chomsky had to explain to me like what this was because I didn't know. Because it's like super concentrated. Like
You smoke weed.
I smoke.
I wish I had a fucking spotlight to shine in your motherfucking eyes right now.
I vape.
green
Are you
spotlight.
smoked up now?
No.
Do you
No.
come to work high?
No. Well, not this work.
When was the last time you came here high?
Previous works I did.
it was like years ago when we first started.
This
And then you
work-
realized
You would
like
be.
that's not a good
Oh
idea.
yeah, I forgot. That's true. You had to stop smoking weed. When
This
we were
work
recording.
requires me to be sharp. Like
Yeah.
programming applications, I could show up high.
But so it's like kind of intense and like crazy.
Well, the car. So here's something that I think that you might not have picked up on. She mentions that he's not buying because these are for dab pens, I assume, which are like little.
That's the oil.
But
Or
it's like a
concentrate.
jewel for weed.
Yeah.
And he wasn't buying the pens. He was only buying refill cartridges.
Yeah.
So he has the pens.
So or pen. What do you think?
What his apparatus is?
You're the drug addict here.
Is
Well,
there
I'll
like
tell
a
you this.
big rig?
That
thing?
technology has. When I was coming up as a lad, we used to have these. It looked like a pencil sharpener. It was a wooden box with a heating element. You had to plug it into the wall, and you'd wait for it to heat up. And
Yeah, I
you'd
remember seeing
grind
those
up the
people's
flour,
houses.
and then they advance. And now it's all USB, which
USB?
Yeah, that's how you charge
USB.
I mean that's what his thing
That's
is.
the Jules
so
USB.
like passionless.
It is funny.
It is.
That's really fucking lame.
We used to. I remember the Annihilation Time house. They would always do knife hits, and we'd always have to stand over the stove. And I didn't like weed ever in my life, but I would do it because I thought it was a novel way to do drugs. Remember, we also smoked it out of a hash. Or not a hash. Excuse me. We smoked hash out of a light bulb at Skinhead Robin's house, and I smoked a weird thing that was a stick of like weed wrapped, and you had to just like hold it near your face and like inhale it from there.
I feel like plugging drugs into your computer is like makes it like pretty lame.
Yeah.
Like
That takes some. Well,
it's not a lot of sex appeal there.
no. I mean,
It was shaped like a breast.
it was shaped. I was about to say,
no,
yeah.
but I mean seriously, it's like very. I guess you can kind of try to take it in a cyberpunk
Mark.
thing.
It's Mark.
But even that is feeling less and less.
Same with cigarettes.
sexy
I mean, e-cigs
as the
made
years
smoking not
move on.
cool, which one would be impossible. It's like that would make a man brain explode anytime.
Okay, wait, but back
this
to
one.
Mark. So you guys think? I think is that like a weed activity that you would enjoy with a bunch of people, or is it really like a crazy person's like I'm just hitting this pen all the time?
I think people like Mark Zuckerberg, I could see him hosting and be like, come over and enjoy some cannabis, my fine selection. And he's got different varietals.
Or now here, okay, twist. What about this? What if he's like a crazy like pantry hoarder person? I'm thinking the people who have their basement rigs or their garage rigs where they've got like, if the apocalypse comes, I've got a bunch of, things of Skippy and don't worry about it. And I like kind of obsessively buy all of these things and arrange them and post Instagram stories about them.
That tracks. He's got
It could
that
be that.
bunker mode.
Yeah,
It
maybe
could
he
be-
was going bunker mode on it and he was like, if I need to like, when shit hits the fan and I'm in my crazy ass half sea, half space bunker that I built in New Zealand, off the coast of New Zealand, I've got
These could
3
be dabs
grocery
for Zealand.
bags filled of this insane weed stuff for pens.
But my question is like, don't you have a guy? He doesn't have a
Yeah.
little guy to do this for him? It
Yeah.
feels like such a like 3 grocery, like no matter if they're for a party or not, you don't want to be seen walking out of the motherfucking the flower shop with 3 grocery bags full of dab cartridges.
Yeah.
And I this is, I'll tell you this, and I've said this story on the podcast before, but I'm going to repeat it very quickly. A long time ago, Dan Rincon and our friend Neil bought a brick of what they believed was hash from a man they described as an adventurer who came into the pizza store they worked at called R&L's Pizza on 16th of Valencia. They bought it for like $100, and it sat on the fucking table of Dan Rincon's apartment in San Francisco, and they smoked it for a number of months. After realizing that it was a bar of soap stamped with an AK-47 the guy said he had bought from like Afghan villagers on one of his travels. And they justified this to me by saying that it was because the guy was kind of dressed like Indiana Jones and was old.
That's cool.
And it did look, and they continued smoking it after it had been completely acknowledged that this was some kind of just soap that they had purchased.
See, I find this very charming.
Yes.
This is the sort of like charming drug story that you can't get anymore because of the internet.
My friend bought cat shit thinking it was black tar heroin in 2012.
Cat shit.
That's sad.